Welcome to the Steps in Purpose podcast with EdieAnne. This podcast explores emotional awareness, faith, and purposeful living through short, reflective conversations designed to help you notice where you are and take your next step with clarity. Thanks for being here. Hey everyone, this is EdieAnne. This is going to be a little bit different. We are starting season 2 of my podcast, and I wanted to change it up a little bit. Things feel different. Things are wanting to take a little bit of a shift. You all know that I wrote a book. It's called Steps in Purpose, the 8 Levels of the Emotion Gauge. There's the foundation book. And right now, currently, as I'm speaking or as you're listening to this podcast, I have 2 volumes out. Volume 1 is Disengaged and Volume 2 is Survival. And I am releasing each level as a volume. So there eventually will be 8 since there are 8 levels to the emotion gauge. And season 2 of my podcast is going to be 1 podcast episode a month. It's going to be like this. It's going to be raw. It's going to be real. It's going to be storytelling. It's going to be a little bit more inside of the workings of the book, of the stories, of what took place while writing the book, and a little bit more of a glimpse into the journey of what it took to get to where the books are at today. And so I just wanted to come to you guys this month. We've got 6 months left of 2026, and explain to you where we're heading in season 2 of Steps in Purpose podcast. And first of all, to thank you all for being part of this journey with me, and listening to the season 1 of this podcast and all of the information that I've shared with you up until this point. Most of what I've done when I recorded these podcasts was wrote it all out first, kind of like in book format, and then I would read it to you. And some of that felt a little less informal, right? Because I was reading, knowing that it was still my words, but it still felt a little less raw. And so that's why I wanted season 2 to be off the cuff and just straightforward with you all. And it might make these podcasts a little bit shorter. Maybe we'll throw in some interviews depending on who I can get to come and share with us. But I am just really thrilled to be able to come and share with you all the process and some of the stories that are behind the book. So I guess I want to share with you how the book came to be in the first place. So I want to say about 30 years ago, I started writing memoirs. And I've been through a lot in my life, probably not as much as many people out there. But to me, it felt like a lot. And some of them were choices that I made. So, not so great choices. I felt like some of the relationships that I went through in life, maybe some of the lack of relationships I went through in life, some of the choices I made after graduation, led me down some paths to some really interesting things. And so I thought it would be kind of neat to write them down in story format. And I always have enjoyed sharing stories and writing stories. And I always thought I was pretty good at it. And so I did start to write. Now, you have to go back to the days of when that would have been. It would have been during, we did have computers, and I had started writing it on a notebook. So I had started the majority of it handwritten in a notebook, and then I transferred it on to, get this, a floppy disk. So yes, it would have been one of those, I think they were 5x5 literal floppy disks that went into a laptop. And during the moves, the many, many, many moves that I did in my lifetime, it got lost. And I think at one point I had transferred from that floppy disk onto the mini disks, the mini floppy disks that we had. And there were two of them. I remember distinctively having two, and those got packed away somewhere. And eventually I found them. I think 15 years later, I had wanted to revisit it because I had stopped writing. Life had gotten in my way. I don't know if I had kids and yada, yada. More things needed to be happening so that I could have more things to write in my book, So found the discs, had no way of being able to extract the information from those discs because by then we had CDs, and found the notebook, revisited it, and started to rewrite again. And I remember writing and feeling like, wow, Edie, this is so negative. Like, these stories are so negative. Your perspective on all of these are just so ho-hum. Nobody's going to want to read this. And so I set it down again. And about 6 or 7 years ago, I was sitting down thinking about this book and all the things that I had been through since the beginning of when I started to write this book. And I thought, you know what, Lord, what am I supposed to be doing with this? Am I supposed to be writing it? Am I supposed to be putting this all out there? Am I supposed to be sharing all of the nitty gritties? And, is anybody going to be interested in any of that? And it hit me that I had survived all of those things. I had gotten through all of those things and needed to understand how I had done that. And as I started to process through all of that, that's when it hit me that I had gone through these emotional roller coasters, right? Like we all do. And out of that became the emotion gauge. And I created the emotion gauge. I kind of looked at it and I was like, hey, this is what I used throughout my lifetime to get through all of these things that I emotionally was charged with to get to where I am today. And I bet there are many people that could use these tools to do the same thing. No matter what it is that they're going through, I bet they could use this. And so I have compilated it all together, put it in a book, created the gauge, put them in a step-by-step process called Steps and Purpose, the emotion gauge, the 8 levels of the emotion gauge. And that is where this foundation book comes from. It includes mini stories from my memoirs. It includes steps by step of what you can do. It includes the gauge so that you know where you're at, what level you're at, and how to get through it. It also has affirmations and prayers and different things that you can use. There's multiple tools that you can use to get you from disengagement to joy. And understanding that you go through these emotional levels multiple times a day. You might get stuck in one for years, which is what I did. And it talks about all of those things and how you can get emotionally unstuck. And it was such a eye-opening experience for me. And I'm so grateful that I had the wherewithal to be able to write it all down and to be able to share this with you guys. So that's what series or season 2 is going to be about. I hope you join me. I am going to do these on the first Thursday of each month for season 2. And I look forward to seeing you back here each month. And just remember that your next step that you take in life does matter. Our steps that we take, you've survived 100% of your worst days. And so your next step does matter. Thanks for spending this time with me. Until next time, keep stepping in purpose.